Bob Kravitz of The Athletic in just a second. Chris Denary, bottom of the hour. Pacers, Pistons coming up tomorrow night. Round 2, Pacers presently tied with the Celtics record-wise in the Eastern Conference standings, but because of the tie-break, they are the 5th seed. Stinking ESPN's got this game coming up on Friday, too. Now, Fox Sports Indiana still does, right? Yeah. They still do? Hey, seriously, ESPN, find something else to do with your time. Every time ESPN and TNT come around, things suck. So just find something else to do. Got to be something else going on. Find another game. Fife interview yesterday. You guys loved it. Podcast up for that at 1070thefan.com. Dane is awesome on the show. Always. You guys are making fun of my lisp. Beautiful.
Well, it's well-deserved. There's no doubt about that.
Every time you play all that stuff, people go crazy over it.
Yeah, no. I mean, nobody's mad.
Tony, this is actually, this picture that you just tweeted out, this is JMV 88 too.
Yeah, no.
This is 88, 89 right here, because if you can tell, I've got the red turtleneck, I got the rope chain on the outside of the red turtleneck, and I've got the Miami Hurricanes corduroy hat, which is, listen, it's one of the greatest hats of all time, right? The corduroy cursive name, I got that. It's awesome.
Yeah, you look like a D-bag is what you're trying to say, yeah.
I look like one of the Beastie Boys with my red eyes right there. I don't know if I was going for the Beastie Boys look then or what, but...
What are you doing down there at Vincennes?
I'm sure we were... Well, what else is there to do? I think that's my man, Rob Hudson. By the way, shout to Rob Hudson. Went to high school with, a year older than me. Just got back from a tour of duty overseas. Is a great dude. One of my all-timers right there. I don't know if this was the time after he went to a party and then woke up in somebody's shed next to a lawnmower. I don't know if that was the time or not. That may have been the time when he woke up in somebody's shed in Vincennes next to a lawnmower, and he only had one shoe on. I don't know what the hell went on there. Sorry, Rob. I didn't mean to tell that on the air.
Come on!
On the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, he is from The Athletic, and he has a great deal to be writing about right now. Bob Kravitz is with us. All right, 5 years down the road, who is going to have the better program at the moment, Purdue or IU in hoopage?
The phone went out there just a little bit. I think you asked me who's going to have a better program in 5 years.
Yeah.
I would think Purdue. I'm a big fan of Matt Painter. Look, I think that Archie can recruit. You know, he brought in Romeo. He's got Trace coming in, but I don't see it as a coach right now. You know, I don't see anything sustainable. I don't think they're going to be terribly good next year. So I would say that if current trends continue, I think Purdue will have the better team.
Archie's clock ticking next year?
I don't think so, because you got to understand, this is Fred Glass's signature hiring. You know, I mean, I know he hired Kevin Wilson and then he hired Tom Allen, but that's football, and we don't care about football at Indiana University. So it's all about basketball, and I think that Fred is going to give Archie all the leash he needs, all the time he needs to get this thing right. So I think in the fans' eyes, yes, the clock will start ticking next year, but I think in reality, he's going to have 4 or 5 years to get this thing right.
Bob Kravitz of The Athletics on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I always say that IU is always going to be a blue blood just because of their basketball history. Are they still a blue blood basketball-wise in college hoop?
Hell no, they're not. They've failed to make the NCAA tournament 7 of the last 11
Not
years.
even not just because of their history alone.
Well, you know, yeah, I mean, the history is phenomenal, but, you know, how many years has it been since they won a championship? What, 87?
Yep.
So, I mean, that's a long-ass time, and for, you know, kids of a certain age, you know, all they know is bad basketball or, you know, spots of good basketball followed by bad basketball. So, No, I think to the current generation, I think for old farts like us, we think of them as a blue blood because of what they accomplished in the five banners and all that. But the reality is, they're a second tier Big Ten program right now, and until Archie turns this thing around, if he turns it around, I think that's going to be the way it's going to be.
Yeah, I think the argument that's made here is you can make it twofold. I mean, you still have, Bob, the history, but I mean, for what it has been in recent memory for those that are much younger you're absolutely on target. Bob Kravitz of the Athletics on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. What'd you think? Had you ever been a part of something from a Boilermaker perspective that was just so awesome yet ended so badly? I mean, it was just a sweet and sour mixture of mammoth proportions over the weekend.
Yeah, it's funny. When you go to a game as a reporter, you try to maintain a level head and try to maintain your objectivity. But, as a fan of excellence, as a fan of basketball, and yes, I really, really like Purdue's program, it was hard not to feel some of their heartache. Obviously, they put a hell of a lot more into it than I ever will. But we saw how cruel this game can be. We saw it happen to Tennessee the game before. Then we saw it happen to Purdue. I mean, think about it. If Klein hits a free throw, it's a 4-point lead. If Eifert or anybody is able to corral that rebound off of the Jerome free throw miss, they're going to the Final Four. So, yeah, it was an incredible atmosphere, and I felt like we had walked into a place called South Lafayette because that place was just roaring with Purdue fans. It was a great atmosphere and a phenomenal game, and it's a dumb old cliche, but it was a shame anybody had to lose.
Yeah, and I would agree with you on that. It's always going to be a tough argument because Purdue fans want to go back to the Final Four for the first time since 1980, and at some point we've become all about championships and finishing second, or in this case, in the Elite Eight, you're basically finishing last. But there was just something so great about that game. But the thud ending. It's as bad as The Sopranos, as I mentioned in a tweet over the weekend. It was as bad as that ending. It really was.
I'm still trying to figure out that ending. Here we are 10 years later, and I still don't know what was going on. But no, and the thing that was so great about it to me, I mean, the season, was it was so utterly unexpected. You looked at that team coming into the season, you thought, especially when they got to 6-5 and got, run by Notre Dame at the Crossroads Classic, you thought this is Carson Edwards and nobody else. And the way they developed was, an incredible testament not only to those kids but to Matt Painter and his coaching staff. So yeah, it was a shame, but you felt like, man, they had taken this thing about as far as they could humanly take it. And it's going to be weird watching the Final Four without Purdue, even though it sounds crazy because they haven't been there since 1980. It's not like Duke, but the way they were playing, the way Carson Edwards was going off, it just doesn't seem right that they're sitting home this weekend.
Is there any way the Final Four lives up to the type of table, the Elite Eight, with the incredible drama set for basketball fans?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think the Virginia-Auburn game is going to be totally fascinating because they always used to say in boxing that styles make fights. And here you have an Auburn team that wants to run, jack up threes, play at pace with great pace. And you've got a Virginia team that likes to slow it down and, strangle you like a boa constrictor, And so I think that's going to be a great game. And, all I know is I'm tied in the bracket, my wife's office bracket. So I desperately need Tom Izzo and MSU to win that game, or win both games.
Bob Kravitz of The Athletic is on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. How do you view this Pacer season to this point? Because it's weird. I was talking about it yesterday, and as fired up as I am, I love this time of year, and I love the fact that the Pacers are poised to make it into the postseason. But there's just that inevitable nature of being without your guy and being bounced out in the first round. How do you view this moving forward to the next couple of weeks?
Well, look, I think getting home court advantage is huge against Boston. If they don't get it, it will be a disappointment. But, this team, I realize they lost 10, 11 games in a row on the road. And I think Boston has got so much talent. It's going to be a tough series. But, for them to have done what they've done, and I had a feeling that once the schedule got brutal in March, that it was going to be a tough road for the Pacers. We've seen guys step forward. I think Miles has been really good. And, I think Wes Matthews, when he's healthy, has helped this team. I think Collison, obviously, bogey's terrific since Oladipo went down. But you got to be realistic, How many teams in this league can do much of anything in the playoffs without their alpha dog? And so, I'd like to see them give Boston a run for their money. I think if they get home court advantage, they got a puncher's chance. But, I just think that's the way it is right now. It's life without Victor.
What's interesting about this whole matchup in round one, the way it is, regardless of who's 4 and who's 5, is you have a team that people's jumped on the bandwagon because the way they played without their guy, and then you have a team in Boston which, you look across the landscape of the NBA, might be, outside of the Lakers, one of the more disappointing teams, even if they are home court advantage team as far as the 4 seed is concerned in round one.
You wonder with Boston, they don't seem very together, and even though they've got a great head coach, you wonder if the Pacers are able to, let's say they open the series in Boston and they win a game there. You wonder if Boston's got the mental fortitude to come back, to take care of business, losing a game at home, or if they get behind and they start in Indiana and they fall behind. I just don't sense that, they're that connected for whatever reason. And so, like I say, I think the Pacers have a puncher's chance, but I do think in a 7-game series, Boston's just got such great talent. And you wonder, just like you wondered with the LeBron Cavs team, whether they're going to be able to flip. I think they might be able to.
So Bob Kravitz of The Athletic, he's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I think Aaron Holiday needs more minutes, but I think that with Aaron Holiday, you kind of find out what he's going to be able to give you early enough. Regardless of the necessity which they have right now, do you think Holiday needs to see a little bit more time, considering this team's makeup down the stretch?
I do. I think it's probably too late right now to establish him as a big-time rotation guy, but I love that kid's game, and I think it's gonna. It'll be interesting to see what they do at the point guard this off season. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is Collison's last year on his contract, to be a free agent. So, and the same with Corey Joseph. So, how do they handle that? I think this kid's got a chance to be a really, really good player. We've seen signs of it. I would have liked to have seen him play more often, but I understand he's still a rookie, and Nate wants to stay with the guys that he knows.
Well, and you mentioned it too. They got 5 1-year guys. Bojan, you absolutely expect to be back. Collison, the jury is still going to be out. I think Corey Joseph has kind of shot his way out of the equation as of right now. You would think that Thaddeus Young would be back because of his leadership role with this group, with this team, and then there's no way Tyreek Evans will be back. So I think that's how I look at those 5 right now.
Yeah, I agree. You got to get Bojan back. He's averaging 22 a game since Victor goes down. I think Thad Young is just a wonderful piece to have in your locker room. Look, he's not going to be a stretch forever, but he does so many other good things both on the court and in the locker room. I will be really happy to go out to Bankers Life next season and not see Tyreek Evans. I'm sorry, but his game leaves me cold. And he's been a real disappointment. Now, having said that, if he can catch fire somehow in the postseason, I think potentially he can be a game changer or even a series changer. But because I think he's got that much talent. But man, we haven't really seen it. in any sustained way this entire season.
Yeah, he gives you one moment in 5 where you might believe that, and unfortunately, the other 4, you're kind of left with, man, send that dude back to the bench.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought, he was a guy who was a 19-5-5 guy last year. I thought he'd be the perfect guy coming off the bench, leading that second unit. And like you said, we've seen a few stretches there where he's looked like the guy they expected him to be. But for the most part, it's been very disappointing.
What are you writing about, Bob?
Well, I'll tell you what. Right now, I'm in the middle of writing War and Peace.
Sweet.
I went out to Washington D.C. Last week to spend a day in Congress with Anthony Gonzalez, the former Colt wide receiver who's now a congressman. He's in the House, a representative from Northeast Ohio. So I've spoken to everybody and his mother, and I will have a long piece, hopefully sometime early next week.
Oh, so the little politics working here. What I don't know.
Politics. It was a thrill for me to go to Congress, and because I'm a CNN junkie, cable news junkie, and to see Elijah Cummings and to see Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and these people, that to me was like a sports fan going to a game and getting an autograph from their favorite player, because I'm a big political junkie. So this has been a lot of fun to write, but it's labor intensive. I'll tell you what.
Do you watch Bill Maher? Are you a Bill Maher guy?
I love Bill Maher.
I think he's coming. He's coming here in May, is he not, or is it earlier than that?
If he is, I want tickets.
I believe he is. I'm not much of a political guy, but I do. He's funny. You know what I mean? I like.
He's really funny.
What's the thing that he does at the end? New rules. That's kind of funny. Yeah, that's kind of funny.
New rules. He's phenomenal. So use your poll and get me some tickets to that, will you?
Yeah, I'll have to check on that. I thought that it was. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll check. As always,
all right, man.
My friend, well done. The Athletic. How can people, if they want to, subscribe and get your column and get everything that you write about in The Athletic?
Just go to theathletic.com. It's easy. It's inexpensive. And if you would like to tweet to me or email me that you want to get a subscription, I can find out what the latest and greatest subscription plan is and get it right back to you. Always a pleasure, buddy. Thank you. All right, man. Take care. Bob Kravitz of The Athletic on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Do you look up, when's Bill Maher here? Bill Maher, I think Tom Morello, I think they're all going to, not together, but at different times. Morello, I love Rage Against the Machine. Now, it's not going to be the same. And listen, I love Alice in Chains, but it's never going to be the same without Lane Staley. Soundgarden's never going to be the same without Chris Cornell. Just stuff you can't get around. And why is Morello and De La Roca, why are they not together? Because
he's here April 7th, by the way.
Bill Maher is?
Yeah.
April 7th? Ooh, that's like this weekend.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I'm on top of things again here, like always. Why is De La Roca and why is Rage not come together again? Because De La Roca's alive, right? Does he ever do anything? I mean, you just, you talk about voices that you just can't recreate with certain bands. You can get a dude from the Philippines to sound like Steve Perry. I mean, the dude from Alice in Chains sounds like, it's not Lane Staley, but sounds like him. I'm telling you what, De La Roca might be the most unmistakable of voices. That high-pitched scream kind of thing just went so well with Rage Against the Machine. Where is he? He's not dead, is he? Yeah, I don't even know. But I saw Tom Morello. Tom Morello's incredibly talented. But I don't know about him. I was a big Rage fan, and I have never seen Rage Against the Machine, ever. I think at one time I was supposed to go to Lollapalooza, and I don't know, I didn't make it or something. Who knows? Somebody's car probably broke down. We had to sleep in the woods. Who knows? JMV, at the game last night, my girlfriend pointed out that Bogey and Austin Crozier could be twins. What are your thoughts? Austin Crozier never had that consistent, and I've said this all along. You watch Bogey's best games when his face and his forehead turn red. That's when he's having a great game. Did you see last night Thon Maker jump over him? Get a little Thon Maker teabagging on the top of the head of Bogey. Bogey just did a little pump fake. Thon Maker goes over the top, and Bogey goes up for a layup, baby. Yeah, whenever the more red the Bogey's face and forehead get, the better that he's playing. So does Ty have an answer for me about De La Roca? Hey, Ty, what's your answer, brother? Thank you for calling.
His political viewpoints were too radical for the rest of the band. And
holy crap! Really? Oh man, I didn't know that.
He took a lot of his money that he made over the years, and he was funneling it to like Contras and different radical groups in South America and Central America, trying to help them fight against the tyranny of governments down in Southern America and stuff. The rest of the band wasn't down with his political viewpoint. So
I thought Morello's a pretty strong activist too, politically, right?
Yeah, but I think their viewpoints just don't mesh.
Okay.
So that's the point. They've tried to get back together. I think they even released another album, but it flopped. Like nobody really even knew it came out. So. In their prime in the 90s, was there, I mean, they were right there with the Pearl Jams and the Nirvanas. Were they not? That's how I thought about them. I just thought there was not a band that I would rather have seen live at that time and didn't than them. And he's gone.
He dropped.
Turn me up here. Let's do a little rage out of this thing right now. You ever see the high school band? It's all over YouTube and Facebook. Do this.
Yeah.
It is a great video.
You gonna do Kid Rock right now?
Oh, we'll do it here shortly. You don't have to do it right now, I don't think, do we?
I mean, you'll forget. So
I'm not going to forget. I would say coming up, Kid Rock.
Coming up.
Listen to this De La Roca voice coming up here. I mean, this is unmistakable. Quick break. Kid Rock in less than 10 minutes. Denary, bottom of the hour. Me, you, other side on a busy Tuesday. Back with you next.
I can't.
And now, an ad from